back, YouTube. Today I'm going to be running you through how to take a transmission out of a 2007 Subaru Impreza. This one is H6 converted, but it is more or less the same thing. We're doing this for two reasons. One, to swap the gear ratio to 411 to match the rear diff, and two is to swap in a lightweight flywheel, and while we're in there, I will also be doing a clutch. Don't mind the mess, and I guess we'll get started. Okay, first off, when you're wanting to take this is a manual transmission if I wasn't clear in the first place, but automatic or manual, the process is roughly the same. First thing you want to do is drain it, and this here is our drain plug. I believe it's the T65, and yeah, drain that, because as soon as you pull these axles out, for most vehicles with the newer trannies, it'll leak everywhere. So drain your transmission, makes less of a mess later. And probably your first step before that would be to jack it up, put it on jack stands, make sure she's secure. And I like to take off these axle nuts first, and it's a good thing I did, because I actually had to call a friend to give me this big old boy to get that thing off. It was not playing nice. Both sides were being a bit of a pig. So get that squared away first, and the rest of it should be a little bit easier as long as the rest of your car is in good shape. Okay, so while this is draining, and if you already have your axle nuts off, you can start with your rear drive shaft and whatnot, but while this is making a mess down here in the drain bucket, I like to start up top and start at taking the bell housing, top bell housing bolts out. So in my case, I'm gonna have to take this cover off, and then my filter, and I'm gonna try to avoid to take off my little homemade strut brace. But if you have a regular 2.5 or maybe even a turbo car, if it's a turbo car, you got to take off the intercooler, which should be right here. If the 2.5, you'll have to take off the airbox. So I'll start here, and then I'll work my way down. Okay, so don't mind my rat's nest of a conversion here. But see this guy here, the wishbone looking thing, you're going to want to undo that. That'll be a 14 mil. Then the top starter bolt over here, you can see down there, that'll also be a 14, and it will be attached. I'll go back over to this side. It will be attached through this guy here like this. So you don't need to undo this. This can just stay attached. So you got to take that bolt down here off into it to get the starter out. You get the other starter bolt from the bottom, and you can also get these off. You can choose to keep this attached or not. I'm going to probably detach mine. I don't have very much room because of all my junk. And right here, let's see where I put it, is my slave. And that bolt's right down here. Those will be 14 mil as well in my case. And for automatic people, fortunately I don't have a very good visual aid except for a spare motor that's over here. Now if you're an automatic guy, your bell housing is here. This here will have a little rubber grommet that I don't happen to have, but this is where you'll get your torque converter bolts from. Now depending on the year, you might have to take your intake off. Newer ones, I know I have gotten away without having to do it, but older ones, I believe you do have to. So now, I should be done up here. Yeah, I should be done up here, and now I just need to go underneath, take out my axles. And by doing that, you undo these ball joints here, and same over there, pull them out, and then you can start pulling the drive shaft and taking down the cross frame. Okay, so a note I did forget is with most Subarus, my janky exhaust that I welded up for my my H6 conversion is going to be in the way. And it's actually, if I believe, true with even the 2.5, the 2.5 turbos. You're going to have to remove the exhaust. Now mine's all one solid piece, so I got to take the whole thing down. I usually take the whole thing down anyway, just to save on the gaskets, because you can usually reuse these. I don't know what's under there. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, but yeah, you're gonna have to take the exhaust down so that you can get the transmission out after you take this down and everything else. I usually just leave this attached to the tranny when I'm taking them out in the garage. It gives me a bit more stability, but when I'm doing it on a hoist, take this down, have your jack under here, and then you can take your bolts off afterwards. But yeah, start with the exhaust once you get underneath. Have a person help you if you can. Unfortunately, all by myself. I'm gonna have to do it, but it's super light, so no worries. Okay, so it was a bit awkward. Got the entire exhaust system out. Finally. So now, yeah, back to normal business. I'm gonna try to get a good look. Best look I can under here with the camera to show you what's up. So under here, you have your axle there, and my mess, and then above that, or rather right there, got to take that nut out. There's a bolt there, and the same over here with that one there, and then underneath here there's the starter bolt, and there should be one more right there. Those are the last of the bell housing bolts there. You can also, again, detach your start if you want. And then after that, I had already undone the rear drive shaft for the rear diff. That's my 411 rear diff, the VLSD viscous limited slip factory Subaru stuff. So 2 bolts there, 14. Then this will be a slip yoke. It'll come out. And probably the nastiest part will be doing your linkages, depending on how old your car is. Mine is not so great. Those bolts should be 12 mil. You want to undo those so that you can get the tranny down and away from the top of the car. And then you'll have this bolt here, these 2 here, and likewise on the other side. And then this is all counting that you have your axles out. And then I'm going to use the jack, depending on however you do it, with a friend, but I like to use a floor jack to help. And you can bring down this entire transmission. So hopefully for me, I'm just gonna give her, and hopefully it goes well. Okay, so now we are at the point of no return for taking this down. It's a good thing. We've got a little ways to go now. Up in this bell housing up in here, you're going to want to be able to pry it apart. Now I'm hoping mine will be easy because this engine's only been in for about a year. But these Subarus can be a bit of a pain. I'm just trying to find my light here. There. It's going to be a bit of a pain to split, and since I have a very busy engine bay, mine's going to be just as bad. So where the green is meeting the tranny, you're going to want to try to get a screwdriver or a pry bar in there, maybe get a couple taps, not too hard, don't want to break anything, but then yeah, try to wiggle it free and split it. The two bolts, the two nuts you took off the bottom are big long dowels. And if you're lucky, the dowels come off, which they very rarely do. If not, you're going to have to take your time with it to get the rest of the tranny off of the dowels. So that's all I have left to do. It's probably the most annoying part. And if you have help with this, it does help a lot, but I've done a few of them, so I'll have to manage by my lonesome. Okay, so here we are. She's out. Now it was a bit of a pain because, as you can see, I have ratchet strap going up to the fender or to the rafters because the engine, as all Subaru engines tend to do, is they like to drop forward, and especially because this has a little bit more mass farther forward, it was being particularly a bit of a bug. But managed. We got her out. Pried her all the way out, and see if I can grab my crawler again, and we'll go look at that clutch. So this is as far as I'm going to go for today. But as you can see, if I can get my light, oh dear, there we go. There we have it. There's the old clutch. So we take off these bolts that go around the outside. And then there'll be, I believe, 8 bolts that you're going to do there. And then the flywheel will come off. And then we can swap everything out. I got to get my other transmission ready. And then we can throw that in. And we can have some nice, lightweight flywheel fun. Okay, so we're all done. Cinder, the shop dog's happy because now she can go inside, right? Yeah, we're done tonight. Had a good night. We got our heavy flywheel off, and we got our clutch off. Not that our clutch was bad, but being as I was going all the way into the transmission and I'm swapping them out, I'm gonna put a new clutch in. I'm replacing that clutch with the same clutch, and we'll be putting in our lightweight flywheel. And just for the sake to end the video, we're gonna weigh this, see if I can get a good reading here. This is supposed to be, it's advertised as 12.7, so we will see. It starts to flash here, what's going on? Oh, we had an arrow, it doesn't weigh anything. Okay, so here we go. And let's see. Well, scale says 12.6. That's good. We'll have to put our dowels in after. So that's 12.6. Let's see what our old one weighs. Forums have been saying a few different things, and it might vary between cars. So let's see what this guy weighs. I mean, it is obviously heavier. Wait for a second, and 25.8. Wow. About half. Alright, so that's it for tonight. I'll do another video tomorrow, maybe the next day, after I clean up the old Outback Tranny, and we'll bolt in our lightweight flywheel, put the dowels in, put our clutch in, we'll put in our new transmission. The only thing I have to sort out is axles between the two trannies. As you can see here, there is a hole in that one. So that's a female tranny. The older style are male on the tranny. See, this is an older axle of an Outback, and it has a female end. So, being as this is the wrong axle, I might actually see if this fits. I don't think so. I think the length is wrong, but I might have to buy some older Impreza axles to fit my new transmission. But in the large scale of things, that's nothing. So anyway, until next time, I'll make another video soon, and thanks for watching.